Tide Hunter. Earth Shaker.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Australian Amateur Cup hosted by Australian Esports League. I am Doriyoshi and I will be bringing this match with Ausdotes versus Seb+Co. Seb+Co just came off a victory against their first round matchup against Dota vs RNG. They had an entertaining match. They were a little bit behind at the start and then turned the game around with their Necrolite being able to pop off those big key heroes such as the AM and the Bristleback, and they eventually pulled it through in a 50-minute game. If you didn't watch that, I'd say go watch on one of our VODs on the Twitch channel hosted by 40ENIN. 9 backwards, or watch it here on the in-game ticket. It was a really fun match. It was good seeing a nice little comeback there from Seb+Co. And Ausdotes, they were watching the match too. You see them taking out that Necrolite. Unfortunately for Ausdotes, their first round match was cancelled. They did get a default win as their opponents, Please Frag Me, did not turn up, so Ausdotes and Seb+Co are currently undefeated so far in our Group B standings. We've got action lined up for you all day today, so stay tuned either here in-game on the ticket or, like I said, at 49, that's the 9 backwards, Twitch channel for all the action. So let's get into this game. Ausdotes have banned out that Faceless Void and the Necrolite, and they've picked themselves up a Tide Hunter. Tide Hunter, an amazing hero. The ability to turn around fights with a single ability such as the Ravage is phenomenal. They initiate on you, you press R, you pop at instant damage. The damage reduction coming out from the Anchor Smash allows a big reduce in the damage output from the Juggernaut and even the Earthshaker. I mean, you plus 200% damage and then, I think it's 400%, sorry. 400% damage at level 4 of the Earthshaker. You reduce it by 40%. That's pretty much negating half of that damage coming out from that Earthshaker, which is really strong because Earthshaker loves, currently in the meta, Earthshakers love to level that up over the Fissure. You have a low cost mana pool in the Fissure used to stun and lock off heroes. Then you come on through and do the physical output from either the Juggernaut, who will also have his spin there, unless he does go for that 1-1-1 route and put the rest in stats and go from there, which has also been a very efficient change to a Juggernaut in this current meta. It's also allowed him to farm a lot more, so you can use him as a little bit more of a utility role. But Tide Hunter, back to the original point, he is a tanky hero. He's fantastically offlane, and you can stack for him quite easily. You stack up those ancient camps a few, maybe up to 2-3 stacks. Tide Hunter, if he's fallen behind, walks into the stacks. 2 or 3 points of that Kraken Shell. 3 points is optimal, because once you have 3 points, you can't die to those ancient camps. And then you pick up your blink around the 13-minute mark if you've had a difficult offlane. Scarlet Mage has also been selected from Ausdotes. He's got great control in the lanes. Generally, this means you're going to go for that aggressive tri-lane. And you can zone out the opponent's offlane hero quite easily, as you do not drag aggro, and the Arcane Bolt does a considerable amount of damage at level 1. It's not the most damage, but with the mana pool Scarlet Mage has, you can zone a hero effectively out of the XP range for quite a long time until Scarlet Mage is forced to rotate. So Seb+Co have to look at a hero that can dish the damage back at the Scarlet, or even potentially pick up a kill. And Bristle's still on the field, and Bristle's a fantastic hero to be able to dish out the damage to these squishier heroes that like to zone out, such as the Skyearth Mage. But the problem with picking up a Bristle in this current lineup for Seb+Co is they've currently got 2 melee heroes already. You will want to start revealing possibly a support range here, a Lion, Leshrac, maybe even a Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor's a fantastic hero. He does have a little bit of a small attack range because you need some range when there's a Tide Hunter. As Tide Hunter, the more melee there is, the easier his job will be. Same with the Skyearth Mages, they can control you a lot easier in these engagements. So, Seb+Co, they've banned out that Batrider, Silencer, Anti-Mage and the Death Prophet, while on the side of Ausdotes they did take out that Rubik and Nyx Assassin in that second round phases of bans. And I liked banning out the Rubik. Once you have these big hard hitting ultimates such as the Tide Hunter or the Skyearth Mage, you need to get rid of that Rubik, especially when a team is still looking for a ranged support to be able to help out in their engagements. And Rubik works wonders with an Earthshake. You throw down that fissure, even if it's not correctly placed, Rubik will just make it perfect. Throw the hero back over on the other side of the fissure, and then that's GG well played for that hero, as they easily get picked off in that engagement.
Witch Doctor.
So now we see that Witch Doctor being picked up by Seb+Co. I did call it, and Seb+Co did play that Witch Doctor last game to great effect. He's a fantastic hero. That casket is, I would say, an underrated stun. I mean, it's got about a 1.5 second. No, it's a 1 second stun on that first bounce, but if you do catch it between heroes or even creeps, that easily stacks up, and it even counts as a mini stun because when it's bouncing around, sure, it's got that main stun, but it will cancel channeling, so you can't go for any of these big channeling heroes because it will continue going around. It goes for the interrupt, so it will cancel your attack animations, your cast animations, which heroes such as Tide Hunter and Wraith King would absolutely love to do in a lot of these engagements. So. And that Maledict is a fantastic ability. You either choose to fully level it up and do max damage earlier on, or you go for a little bit more of a supportive kind of route with the heals and the casket. And speaking of the heals though, there's 2 main heals coming down the side of Seb+Co. You've got the Juggernaut with his healing ward, you've got Witch Doctor. I'd almost like to see Ausdotes pick up a support AA. You got your Tide Hunter, the offlane Skyearth Mage as secondary support, or your 4th or 5th position, and then you go for your AA. You can potentially run the AA mid. They're going to pick up the Slurk. Slurk's a fantastic hero, especially against the Juggernaut. If Juggernaut does initiate and you just pop your ultimate and you're gone. There's no more things Juggernaut can do about you, and you've got that massive healing regeneration to fight against Juggernaut. So we could see some very long engagements coming up from both sides, especially with that Wraith King pickup. You can't kill him too easily, and if he does initiate, so. But it looks like the Wraith King will be a support with your Skyearth Mage and a Slurk, so that's a very aggressive Thailand. But you've got a Darkseer. Darkseer is one of the safest off-lane heroes in the game. You double Iron Shell or Creep Wave, you're going to pick up at least 2 or 3 kills. If you're unlucky, you might get 1, but in the end, you're still getting the gold that you desire. You get your Arcane Soul Ring earlier on. You could even rotate into the jungle and pick up some farm there if the Juggernaut himself hasn't gone in there to work on these heroes. And Ausdotes, they're looking for the final hero. They did ban out that Storm Spirit. This will be their mid lane hero unless they want to go for a little bit of a cheeky play, put that Slurk in mid lane. But with that Viper pickup, that pretty much shut down the Slurk. And I really like this if Ausdotes were willing to put that Slurk into that mid lane. Viper's very tanky early on. He's got great chip damage and great harassment. He'll just keep prodding and poking at you until either A, you finally get annoyed and take your aggression out onto that Viper and try and kill him with rotation. Even with rotation, I think Viper could still manage to find a kill or 2. Or, why do I have my net graph on? I can't turn that off. Or, you have to retreat, gonna get more than Brumos is an interesting pickup. If they do send that Brumos against Viper, I think Viper against Brewmaster. Brewmaster is pretty tanky, can dish out a little bit of damage, and once he does have that evasion up and running, it gives him a little bit effective HP, which allows him to stay in a little bit longer in that mid lane, picks up a bottle, can control the room, and not to mention that split is fantastic in these engagements. If Juggernaut or any of these heroes do try to engage on you, you do pop out that split and you're just going to turn it around. They do not necessarily have that right click damage in terms of physical DPS, as Viper is a lot of magical until later on the game starts picking up some of these items to burst down those splits. So it's a nice little pickup. I think he's going to have a very difficult time in this mid lane, however. So let's get into introducing just on the side of Seb+Co, you've got the stand-in of Bubblegum will be picked up on your Juggernaut. Adobe Reader running away on that Earthshaker. Just behind him is my documents on that Witch Doctor. Also coming down bottom is Happy on that Viper. And finally, but not least, Damo will be picked up on your Darkseer. And at the same time, Ausdotes, they're just going to do a little bit of an aggressive ward here, which is going to be indicate that they're going to go hard on whoever this mid lane hero is, and they're going to potentially try and get rotates earlier on, and to find out where the wards are so they know if they need to smoke or get underneath. And speaking of Ausdotes strategy, let's get into their lineup. Isolated is on the Wraith King. Jelly Shots picked up for the Brewmaster. Abyssalisk on your Skyrath Mage. Pigeon will be picking up the Slark. Sorry about that, I just talking to one of the admins about something. I should be getting voice throughout the game. If you don't hear me, then this doesn't really matter to you or reply. Do give me a message if you do have me on Steam or add me and tell me if the voice volumes is correct, or if you do have any queries or any feedback on my casting or controlling of this camera. Do send me a tweet on @DotaYoshi, or send me some feedback on Steam. I'm always happy to receive a little bit of feedback, as I am been in the scene for a while, but still not the best of casters, as you probably can tell. But it's always fun to do, get involved in the Australian scene and help them out wherever I can. But hopefully you guys can hear me again. So now we're going to go into a little bit of a... The game has started. They've revealed their hands. Tri-lane down at the bottom will be ran by Seb+Co, and the tri-lane up at top. So this is where you have to control the lanes, get as much XP from the farm. Dark's just got to be a little bit careful. He went greedy and picked up the Iron Shelf, so he's going to be forced off the lane. If he doesn't... I don't think he's going to get any XP here. One of the problems with picking up the Iron Shell out level 1 is if one of these heroes decide to initiate on you, you've got no way of disengaging. You have Wraith King with a stun, you've got a slow coming out from the Skyrath Mage, and then finally the Slark with his pounce once he picks up level 2. He hasn't decided what he wants yet because he doesn't know what he needs. If an engagement does come, he can pick up where he needs to jump on and lock down a hero. He can pick up for that little bit more of a burst route and pick up his... Dark Pact? I think it's Dark Pact. Yes, it's Dark Pact. Or you can just go for that little bit of steal in the and gain some agility from his third ability, his passive. So Wraith is already coming out to zone at this Darkseer. They should know that there is a ward in this location, as every time he does get close, Damo is on the retreat. In mid lane, contrarily to what I just said, Jelly Shots is doing a very wonderful job against this Viper, zoning him out hard. I mean, you get one of those claps down on a Viper that's been a little bit out of place, and you do about a third of his health, and then now it allows you to push the lane, control the rune, and then now you're back into the lane, full rune, full mana, and a little bit of XP and gold coming away of that bounty rune. Earthshaker has not received a little bit of XP yet. They haven't been able to pull. He must have tried to stack and looking through the creep pool, but unfortunately for him, it looks like it got denied or pulled away from this Tide Hunter. And now that ward is up, and it looks like it's not going to be dewarded for a little bit of time. And we got a smoke gang coming from Ausdotes. They're going to be rotating around. Isolated's going to be leading the charge, and they're pinging. They've been spotted out. We'll be able to get on out of here. No, he's going to walk up, and then Pigeon, he's going to lock him in. They're going to find him. The stun comes on out. The leap will be there shortly after. It is level 2 for the damage. This will be your first spot of the game. Few more auto attacks. Who will get the final auto attack? It will be the Wraith King. So Ausdotes with a little bit of a nice rotation there with the smoke, and that's the problem with the Darkseer. He came a little bit over aggressive. The smoke even got revealed, and I'm pretty sure that tower should have seen him. Yeah, with the vision you have there, the tower should have seen him once that smoke got popped, so it's a little bit strange he wasn't watching the map there. And Ausdotes, however, with that fantastic wraparound, do find themselves a kill, and that aggressive tri-lane, it's doing wonders, and they're smoked up again. They're not going to give the pressure up. They've got that aggressive ward, as we said in the start of the game. They're going to be looking for kills on this Viper, and I'm pretty sure Brewmaster will be extremely happy about this. But no, it looks like they're going to wrap around once again and go for this Darkseer. Darkseer might be caught out to get it. Pigeon getting a little bit aggressive. The surge is popped. The stun comes out. The slows are there. Will they be able to kill him before he goes underneath the tower? The auto attacks, once again, they're looking him in place, and he will fall. And that's again another kill going towards Ausdotes against this Darkseer. I think he's been a little bit too aggressive, and once those supports have disappeared, I mean, he's not even seen any of them here. He should suspect something's up once he can't see him underneath his own ward. He needs to back and just play it safe, and he's just been time and time again being held accountable for being a little bit out of position, and Ausdotes doing fantastic to capitalize on these situations. And speaking of Ausdotes, they're coming around hard. Viper's going to be in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have boots. They're going to come in with the stun, and one clap will be enough to secure that kill on that Viper. Ausdotes playing fantastic aggression at the moment. They're not letting up. They're keeping heroes off the map, keeping the team of Seb+Co guessing. Down at bottom lane, however, Tidehunter just picked up 4 creep kills of his own. A little bit surprised he hasn't got a bit more than what he actually has. As there has been not too much harassment coming out from the supports of Seb+Co. Viper does TP back into mid lane, but he is now 700 to 800 gold behind that mid lane hero of that Brewmaster, which is gonna pretty much set Brew up for a very well timed blink at about the 8 or 9 minute mark. The way he's going is at 1k gold at 5 minutes in. With those boots, you don't need anything further than the boots until you pick up that blink. And once you have that blink, it will continue the aggression for Ausdotes. And it looks like Damo, he's decided he's not going to get caught out of position any longer. I would personally like to see Damo decide, okay, this top lane is next to over. I'm going to rotate into jungle and maybe pick up some gold. I mean, at the same time, double Iron Shell in the creep wave, he's only unfortunately single Iron Shelling, does help put the creeps underneath the tower, and it makes it a lot more difficult for the Slark to get those last hits. And I mean, you do have the chance to get creep kills yourself. A little bit unfortunate that was only a single pull for the Scarif Mage, because this will send a double creep wave towards Damo, and he's going to get a lot of XP for that. He'll be quite happy to see that double creep wave pushing in. Otherwise, I'm a little bit surprised at Seb+Co. I mean, you've got this Earthshaker and you've got a Witch Doctor. Both can work wonders in a tri-lane and aggression around the map. I mean, they could have found this Brewmaster a few times before he hit level 6, but now he's level 6. He's going to be nigh impossible to kill, and he's on the run. He might even find himself a lonely Earthshaker as he rotates down with the haste. He's found himself an Earthshaker. Earthshaker's not going to block him off. He's going to rotate around. Few auto attacks will find him a kill. Will be able to deny himself, however. He's trying to. Ursa Warrior's not going to have any of that, and then a few more auto attacks will pick off that Earthshaker. At the same time, at top lane, they did find themselves of a Darkseer. And, well, they're going to find themselves another kill on the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor decided to come in a little bit later, and as I said, once you have that split up and running by that Brew, he's nigh impossible to kill. So he will find himself another kill, and that's 0-6 in the way of Ausdotes. That gold change and XP going in favor of Ausdotes, and nothing going the way of Seb+Co. So Ausdotes are in a really comfortable position at the moment. Tidehunter does pick up his arcane boots and will continue walking down, but Juggernaut, he's not doing too bad. He's got 33 creep kills. He's able to secure the farm down at bottom lane. He's not too far behind the Slark, considering Slark does have 2 kills, and the Broom, I think he also has 3 kills of his own. So Juggernaut able to keep up the farm, keep up the levels. He'll be able to pick up his level 6 here, and this is when the Tidehunter has to be extremely careful, because Juggernaut will be looking to find himself a killer. With that denial, level 6 is up and running. He's going to think about it, but that creep wave walked in, and there's a little bit of an engagement up here at top rune. Viper's in a lot of trouble, but a fantastic fissure coming on out by the Earthshaker, and hey, happy he's trying to do whatever he can. Unfortunately, not be able to do too much there. Witch Doctor's looking at the cast it, but the Brewmaster says, I will fight you, come and take me on. And now the ultimate comes out from that Juggernaut, and the Tidehunter does fall. And as I said, the level 6 from this Juggernaut is when you have to be absolutely afraid of him. Even if you're a Tidehunter with a lot of armor, a lot of health, and that Kraken Shell. Kraken Shell unfortunately does not dispel the Juggernaut's ultimate of that Omni Slash. And just give me a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. We're having an issue with one of our admins checking up on something, so I did have to respond there. In mid lane, we saw the Brewmaster pick up an easy kill. He's picked up that fast blink, jumped in with a double damage clap, and the Viper is as good as gone. And now there is a smoke up and running, and they're going to be looking to find themselves another kill around the map. Darkseid's in a lot of trouble here. They've got the slow coming out. Surge is on cooldown for another 2 seconds. He's going to start being auto-attacked. He's going to be burst down, and he's dead. Same time, Brewmaster finds himself another kill in mid lane, this time against the Earthshaker. In the same way, blink, clap, he even had enough mana to split if things got a little bit dicey. So 9 for 1 for Ausdotes. And I was going to mention something about this Darkseid, how he died here. If you go the normal route for the Darkseid, which is to max your Iron Shell and then put 2 points into Surge, you do not pick up your Vacuum until you have 2 points in Surge, because the lower cooldown of that 1 additional second and that 1.5 seconds of additional boost allows you to escape in these engagements. And as we saw there was a short cooldown before he was able to pop that burst once again, and then he fell to the aggression coming out from Ausdotes. So a little bit unfortunate there. He did pick up your Vacuum. Your Vacuum's not too good level 1. You want to pick that up a little bit later and then worry about it a little bit later on. The blink comes on in, the clap comes on down. The Fisher's only got to lock off one here. Damo tries to vacuum him back. He will fall underneath the damage of Jello shots. And now Earthshaker, he's in a lot of trouble. He's just hiding. He's hiding out. But then Pigeon, he's found him. Pigeon's going to jump on in, catches him with the leap, bursts him down with the Dark Pack, and then finds that final auto attack. Scarlet Mage tried to throw in a little arcane bolt there to get an assist in that, but he won't be lucky. And now Viper, he's going to come underneath the Tidehunter, but Tidehunter's Kraken Shell, so even with a few of those poisons, it will burst off and he will be able to escape. So he's not worried. He's not worried at all, while the rest of his team is pushing up top lane. He's happily farming away, picking up that XP and working his way towards the Blink Dagger, as he's not required in these engagements, as Jello Shot is more than enough to take a lot of these heroes by storm. And now we've got engagement down on bottom. Tidehunter's ready for the Ravage, but he's taking a lot of damage from the Maledict and the poisons. Will he burst under the heavy weight of that Witch Doctor and the Maledict? No, he will not. He will survive for another HP, and the engagement will cease to exist. And happy he wants to go further. These heroes are starting to become low weight, and that's when he starts to do the most damage with his toxicity and his toxicity of his nether toxin and his poison split. And Brewmaster finds himself another kill in mid lane, this time against Darkseid. Will he go down though? The creep is chasing him. He's running for his life, but he does get away with that blink. That creep, unfortunately, a little bit too slow to catch up to that Brewmaster. Now it is 12-1 in Ausdotes' favor. And Slack is pushing that aggression up in that top lane there, trying to find himself a tier 2 tower or any TPs, as you see Seb+Co coming down bottom. TP spot coming in, Primal Split has been used. Fisher's not going to do anything there except lock down that Juggernaut, who is in the backline, not being able to do too much there. Witch Doctor, he'll fall to the aggression of that Brewmaster, and now Pigeon, he's looking for a leap. He misses the leap and the Dark Bat, and now Happy, he's locking him into the place. There is still an ultimate coming up from Pigeon. He's going to try and find anything. Nice little stun coming out from the Adobe Reader, and there's the blink in from Jello Shots. He is making Seb+Co wobble at the legs, and now they're going to be chasing down the rest of these heroes. Happy is on the run with the arcane bolt coming on through. The slows all around the place. He will die. He's going to throw out his dual strike to make sure he can do at least a little bit of damage before he goes down. And well, that's another fantastic engagement by Ausdotes with the entire team there. It's a good one. Wraithking just happily farming up in mid lane there, getting some XP on his side, as he has been playing that 5 position support. Actually, no, he's 4 position support. He's got some boots compared to the Scarlet Mage. Except I think the Scarlet Mage may have something on the Kuro. But now, bottom tier 1 tower is starting to be under attack from Ausdotes. Ausdotes are going to be chasing heavily, and there's no TP spot. There's one, but would this be a little bit too late? There's the second one. They're going to try and find him. They found him. The Ravage speed popped. It lands onto 3 heroes, except for the spinning Juggernaut. They're going to find themselves a turnaround kill onto the Tidehunter, but the Brewmaster says he wants a kill in return, and they will find themselves a Witch Doctor, as Pigeon is able to be on the retreat. He's now in no man's land, and he will get the bonus healing and speed boost from being hidden in that fog of war. So, a 1-for-1 trade, Witch Doctor for the Tidehunter. I mean, it's good in fact in terms of the Juggernaut picked himself up a kill, putting him to 3-0, but the Juggernaut is your last remaining hope on the side of Seb+Co. You look at the side of Ausdotes, you have 2 heroes sitting on top of the scoreboard. Jello Shots working his way to what should now be an Aghanim Scepter or some Brutes. He's jumped on in, keeping a little bit of damage, and there's the Fissure coming out of the wall, but the Vacuum, it's only level 1, and that's the problem with a level 1 Vacuum. It's got such a small radius, you're gonna miss a lot of these heroes most of the time. And then you'll become a sad face. So you need to start getting some XP up on Damo. Damo needs to rotate in the jungle. The jungle has been relatively untouched. You haven't seen any of these heroes to try and absorb, or even as they're walking between lanes, get a little bit of extra gold and XP underneath their names. They've been consistently stuck in these engagements, 4v5, and well, while they're 4v5, the other heroes around the map have been able to absorb their XP. Nice fissure and spin coming out from the Juggernaut. It does have Omni Slash up and running, and well, that's an Omni Slash. That's going to be a kill, and Juggernaut's going to happily pick up his 4th kill with the rotation from Adobe. And Brew was looking for a Curie there. He wasn't able to find it. He's going to find himself a Witch Doctor, however, and there's the split being popped, and this will spell instant doom for that. My document's being played on that Witch Doctor, and unfortunately Pigeon misses his leap. The Damo with that level point of Surge is able to escape for a little bit longer, but there's this rock coming on out, and then find himself another kill. If he had level 2 of that Surge, then he would have been out of there. He would have gained a little bit more distance and would have survived there. So that's one of the problems of not having that 2 points in Surge. And Happy's going to start auto attacking Jelly Shots, but Jelly Shots, it's just going to TP on it home. Actually, what did he TP? TP down bottom lane. He's chasing against the Juggernaut. Juggernaut's in a lot of trouble. He's going to start auto attacking. Will the ward be enough? The ward's not in range. There we go. Ward's back in range. The leap has landed successfully, and Slark will pick up that kill. Now Slark moves himself 6-0. Brewmaster 11-0. This is looking very grim. Where is that kills assist? There we go. There's the kills and deaths on that scoreboard. And Brew and Slark, they're just so far ahead. You look at the gold graph, however, Juggernaut has been able to free farm enough to keep up with him, but with that death, that's going to set him behind where he needs to be. And well, he's got drums, he's got phase boots. I like this ability. I also potentially like the Yasha pickup. If you can start working towards a Yasha, you go Power Treads, Yasha, you get the movement speed from the Yasha, you get the stats from both that and the Power Treads, you have the survivability and the mana output to be able to sustain a lot of your early game aggression. Then now we have the Brewmaster. He is on the hunt. He's looking for his next target. He's picked up that Ogre Club. He's 1/4 of his way, actually he's halfway towards his Aghanim Scepter, as he does have 1k gold sitting in the bank up for the taking if Seb+Co can successfully find a kill on them. And at the moment it looks like Ausdotes once again are looking to be aggressive. He blinks in front of him, forcing Bubblegum to go the long way around, which was a fantastic blink. And now he's turning to look back around. He's got Omni Slash up on him. He stuns, he's dead. The Ravage has been popped. It's going to be only used onto that Juggernaut. Nice Echo Slam lands onto 2 heroes, but do they have enough to pick up anyone? The Wraith King goes down, but he does have Reincarnate. Pigeon will find himself a kill in the backline. The Witch Doctor is throwing out all the damage with the casket, and his ultimate up and running, and he will find himself a turnaround kill. It's a 2-for-3 trade. Happy's trying to find himself wherever he can, but Jelly Shots is just so far ahead. He will happily fight underneath that tower with that slam and the few auto attacks coming down, and the last sole survivor is that Witch Doctor, who will be hanging his casket in between his legs, running away home. So now it's going to be another tier 1 tower for Ausdotes. That recap though, there's a little bit of gold for that Seb+Co, even though they lost 4 heroes, because they are killing the bigger leveled heroes and bigger side of Ausdotes, and the XP change is fairly even. And I mean, there was a lot of damage done by both sides. Unfortunately, Seb+Co could not sustain in the fights with their health to be able to survive long enough to be able to capitalize on any of that damage done, and also Slark is able to heal a lot of that, so it doesn't really matter too much in the end. Now, Karnata's still about 900 gold off of his Blink Dagger, which is a little bit surprising considering his time spent in that bottom lane. Earthshaker, however, that poor Earthshaker, he's been relegated to that level 5 position, so he's not able to pick up Arcane Boots, which means he missed out on that fissure. That last fight would have been extremely healthy. He was only able to throw out that Echo Slam, and he's also not being able to pick up his Blink. He's going to be set so far behind because they are prioritizing the farm a little bit more on the Witch Doctor, considering they aren't getting really any farm, but they are putting a little bit more in the favor of that Witch Doctor. Scarlet Mage, he's going to be working towards his 4 stuff to give him a little bit of mobility in these team fights. They're going to be still walking around aggressive. I mean, it's nice ward coverage coming out from Seb+Co. They can watch any movement in that mid lane. Unfortunately, that Sentry's not going to find anything. And a little bit of an engagement going out. Scarlet Mage, he finds himself getting too aggressive. They should know there's a ward here, because why else would that Scarlet Mage be there? And they're able to find themselves a kill. And that kill did go to the Viper. So Viper has got his mechanism up online. This will increase the effective HP pool. And who will go down here? Will Juggernaut be able to find himself a kill? He does. He gets a few lucky Omni Slashes. He's in a lot of trouble. He needs to spin before Brewmaster can blink and clap, which is in 7 seconds. If he sees the split, he needs to spin and TP. So he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to start spinning. He's going to TP, but this could be the wrong move. Will we get lucky crits? We do not get it enough in the short amount of time, but Juggernaut does survive safely, and that's what we want to see in this engagement. Juggernaut continuing to survive while picking up kills against the odds. In demo, he's starting to pick up a few of those level kills. He's starting to work his way towards vacuum. His skill point build, I'm a little bit the general consensus of the Darkseer skill builds is, as I said, 4 points vacuum, 2 points surge, and then the rest of you 4 points iron shell, 2 points surge. Then you max your vacuum, and you pick up a wall at level 10 and 11. You'll have 3 points in your vacuum, you'll have your wall when it's necessary, and you have the mana to sustain it. Otherwise, earlier on, you do not have the mana, you do not have the versatility in the engagements, nor is your vacuum range long enough to be of any worth, not worse. Now they're going to be wrapping around. They're going to find the Scarf Mage once again alone. TP split coming on in. Brewmaster has used his split, but the Scarf Mage should fall quite easily. Peach is going to be going against that Viper. The dust has been popped, but he is in his ultimate. You cannot find him in that dust. Tidehunter's walking on in with the Ravage. They're going to pop the Ravage. The Witch Doctor almost found himself a kill on that Tidehunter in the meanwhile, but Tidehunter is too tanky for a lone Witch Doctor to handle, even though he did take about 100 hits from that Death Ward. Now Ausdotes in a commanding position. They're over 10k gold and almost 7.5k XP ahead. Juggernaut, he's still farming up. And I mean, this is the wise move. Sure, he's not in these engagements, but the engagements so far, they haven't been necessarily even enough to worth him being there. He needs to keep pushing towards these towers, keep getting farm, and even find himself a tower. Scarlet Mage just showed his face, and if he was up in that lane just then, Omni Slash, dead Scarlet Mage, free wave, and then a free tier 1 tower. In mid lane though, we got initiation going. Nice vacuum into a wall. Jelly Shots doesn't worry too much. He's got a lot of HP to sustain it. Ravage is up once again off cooldown. Wraith King goes down. The Echo Slam comes down, but he doesn't have enough mana to follow up with anything else. He's got the slam coming on, ready to totem slam someone in the face. Damer is in a lot of trouble, but he's burning them down. There's tier heroes that have finally fallen on the side of Ausdotes, and now Happy is looking to turn this around on the totem, and 3 kills going in favor of Seb+Co. Much needed kills on the way of Seb+Co. You look at that fight recap and look at that XP change. That's 5k in favor of Seb+Co. Much needed. And that gold, 4k, which is going to be spread out amongst heroes that need it desperately, such as this Earthshaker. He's going to pick up his Arcane Boots, which I think is a lot wiser than going for that Blink Dagger at this stage of the game. As we see then, end of time and time again, he needs that mana to sustain with the fissures coming out after those Echo Slams. He's doing well-timed Echo Slams. He's done fissures to catch people off guard, but he doesn't have enough to second fissure in these fights. And with the amount of time spent in these engagements, which are about 30 seconds or more, that's about 20 seconds of downtime that Earthshaker's not doing much except walking around, absorbing some of the damage, hoping that the rest of his team can pick up the slack. Which, I mean, when you have Happy there, right-clicking his way to victory is more than enough. And with that early mechanism, that's what saved Seb+Co in that fight. They had that mechanism. You look at the side of Ausdotes, they haven't prioritized a mechanism at all, and that's what allowed the Brewmaster to die, the Wraith King to die a second time, the Tidehunter fell shortly after. If they had a mechanism there, that would have been a little bit of an easier fight, and I think Ausdotes would have came out on top there, but instead Seb+Co, with that mechanism, are able to actually get initiation coming on Ausdotes, pop the split, they're going to miss the jump. Bubblegum's in a lot of trouble, but he does have that Omni Slash if needed. Damer, however, would fall, even with that mechanism being popped by Happy. And now Juggernaut, he's going to be thrown up at the end with an unfortunate time from those heroes. The Death Ward's coming down. The Omni Slash will find the kill onto that Tidehunter. Scarlet Mage is going to be on the retreat. Bubblegum's going to be on the retreat at the same time. So it's a 3v3 fight here. Adobe's in a lot of trouble. Now he's going to have to retreat. Same with Jelly Shots. Jelly Shots should be an auto attack down by Harpy, but he's ran out of mana with one more auto attack. And then Isolator is going to protect his carry to the ends of this earth. And we have a little bit of aggression coming up from Slark being in the middle of these heroes. Could easily be sandwiched. Our Juggernaut is on the retreat, and that mana coming out, helping to sustain these heroes a little bit more. I think he may have missed that Viper in that mid lane, and tower does get denied by that Wraith King. Now, Brewmaster, he did have that Aghanim Scepter, I believe, up in that last fight, allowed him to sustain and do a little bit more damage. But once again, Seb+Co being able to show that they can sit in these engagements and now fight. And I think that's a fantastic idea to use once you have that mechanism. You've been able to see them sustain and kill. That was the problem at the start of the game. They couldn't sustain. They could kill, however. Now, if they're being able to sustain, they can withstand these engagements, put up a massive, huge engagement, and then sit there, take it like a man, and kill heroes. And Ausdotes, they're not happy about this, so they're going to take this out of the Bubblegum. Bubblegum could be in a lot of trouble. The stun comes out, but a nice spin comes on. He doesn't have a TP, but he will be able to survive. So a nice time in there after a blink coming in from Isolated. Juggernaut is on the ball, so he's going to be looking to pick up his next major item, which could either be a Diffusal, which is not unheard of, and he's going to unfortunately miss there. They might look to engage on. Stun comes on out. Tidehunter's here. If they need to ravage, they will ravage. He's got the spin. He pops the Omni Slash and avoids the ravage. He finds himself a kill, doing so much damage. The Death Lord comes on in, but they will find the kill on the Isolated. He doesn't have Reincarnation up, but they don't know that Bubblegum. He's got to fall to Pigeon. That is unfortunate there that they could not find up any further kills. Pigeon's going to be locked in with the help of that fissure, but he does have now a Scotty he picks up from that final engagement of that Juggernaut. So Seb+Co, they were looking really well there. They just couldn't find the kills, unfortunately. Wraith King, Reincarnation on cooldown for another 20 seconds. Skywrath, a few more auto attacks would have picked him off as well. So, unfortunately for the Juggernaut to die there, it was really unfortunate. It really looked like Seb+Co should have came out on top there. With that, with the Juggernaut down, the Omni Slash on cooldown, and the Death Lord that's still on cooldown, they're going to decide to rotate into the Rosh. They know something's going on. They did see someone walk past here. They should know something is astray on the map. But are they going to look to group up, or are they not going to worry about contesting it as that Juggernaut is currently down? And we do have Witchstock. He's going to be walking in. He's going to find himself a free Observer Ward up on top of that cliff. And Roshan is still slowly going down here. They don't have any negative armor or any really high burst output heroes at the moment. And will Isolated lose his Reincarnate? No, he's decided to give up. He's going to sit around though to give the lifesteal to these two heroes and throw out the stun. Rosh goes down. That's a 25.5-minute Rosh. They could have done it a little bit earlier, but they've been playing the aggression game, which is what we all love to see in Dota. Kills all around the map, engagements coming from every side. So let's have a little recap of the items currently up on side. Viper will be working towards his Aghanim Scepter. He's getting quite close to that, sitting about 700 gold to picking up his Aghanim Scepter. Otherwise, he's got Boots, Mechanism, and Wraithband over on your Darkseer. You've got BKB. I don't like this. I really do not like this BKB pickup. I think it doesn't allow you the initiation, such as a Blink Dagger. You pop in, vacuum, Earthshaker follows it through with the Echo Slam, or even a fissure into an Echo Slam. It doesn't allow you the early mechanism if you were to work on that earlier, which they did prioritize on the Viper. It doesn't allow you the Force Staff to disengage from a lot of these heroes, such as the Skywrath Mage, the Brew, and potentially avoiding the Tidehunter's ultimate. I think it's... I don't like this. I mean, this early on in the game, I really don't like this Darkseer. He's really afraid of the silences and the stuns coming out from the Ausdotes. But I mean, if he had that Blink Dagger, they would have to be afraid of him. So, anyway, we will see how it plays out. I mean, this can all just be absolute bollocks, I'm talking, and then we see him do a fantastic wall into vacuum because he had that BKB up and running. But just on paper, it's not as effective as, say, a Blink Dagger would be at this time of the game. So, Juggernaut over the Juggernaut and what he's prioritizing in farm. He's got these Aghanim Scepter and Yasha. He's going to be really tanky, and as we've seen with that Omni Slash, has been on point, almost 500 kills around the map. Earthshaker has got just Arcane Boots to his credits. Maybe we'll start seeing a little bit of an engagement up in this top tier 2 tower. Casket's still bouncing around, and Slug's just happily beating away at this tower, and they're going to jump on in. He does have the means to disengage. He does have the Aegis as well, and Pigeon says, fight me, I don't care, I'll kill you, I've got Aegis. BKB is popped, the Blink comes in the vacuum. He gets 3 people, the Ravage Tower is on point. The Echo Slam will find himself a kill, but he will fall shortly after, not before the Tidehunter. Adobe Reader is still up, the mechanism keeps him up, they still keep that Tidehunter. The Omni Slash comes on through. Pigeon will escape with his Shadow Blade, and now the Storm. He's on the run, he's on the chase, is happy. Will he be able to find him though? There's no Blink Dagger on cooldown. He could have blinked, but he didn't. The fissure comes on through, he's TP'ing. Will they have enough? The Totem Slam gets him, and they will find the kill. Good work by Seb+Co. They found themselves 4 for 1. Somehow the Earthshaker didn't die in that engagement. Witch Doctor getting a full-time Death Ward. That vacuum set up from the Darkseer. How I said that he didn't need that Blink Dagger, he didn't need it that time. That BKB allowed him to survive that additional few seconds to get his entire ability set off, and that's what kept him alive. So that's what we have to see. That's why even I'll repeat that. Going against the standard item priority isn't always wrong. As you saw in that engagement, it worked off correctly and it allowed Seb+Co to take a convincing win in that engagement. And now they get a free tier 1 tower up top. And look at that gold swing. It's coming straight back to 0. The XP is now in their favor as they've been picking off these higher heroes. And Juggernaut is the highest hero in this game, sitting pretty on level 17. Brew is 16 with Sark on 16. Viper at 15. And then the rest of the supports and offlanes are ranging from 13 to 11. So the XP is fairly spread on the game, but it is in favor of Seb+Co with those engagements. And look at that net worth. Slark and Juggernaut vying for that top crown in this game. 1,400 gold. Actually, not 1,400 gold. What am I talking about? 14,000 gold on that Slark, with 12,000 gold going towards that Juggernaut. But as you see there, it comes down to the massive team fights and potential Seb+Co. And with that Darkseer, it doesn't matter how much farm the opponent's carried got, because you're going to turn that farm back against them with illusions of your own, as I believe illusions do 100% damage. Scepter, Replica, 120%. Replica, 80%. Okay. So they do 80% now, 90% at level 3, and that's almost returning the entire damage back against the Ausdotes lineup. So these auto attack heroes such as that Brew, the Slark, and the Wraith King will be turned against them, theoretically increasing Seb+Co's lineup to a 6, potentially 7-man lineup against Ausdotes. And Courier is going to walk on past. However, Slark didn't see it. He's going to continue walking, but they saw Slark, and they're going to see an engagement onto the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor needs to turn on his heals. He's not turning on his heals. He's going to die fast. Adobe Reader tried to save his friend. It's not going to happen. The Reincarnator is up on the Isolated. The Juggernaut will pop his ultimate. I'm not too sure I like that. Joshua blinks on in. The Echo Slam pops the Isolated, but the Ravage is on point. This is a turnaround fight. This is what Ausdotes has been looking for the entire time. Bubblegum's in a lot of trouble. He will fall. Viper will fall shortly after, and that's a 4 for 5 trade going to Ausdotes. Fantastic Ravage coming out from Total. That entire fight I'm giving to Total right there, with the fellow lineup of the Brewmaster with that blink. And now this is going to be a tier 3 tower if they can find some creeps. They're forced to buy back from the Viper. A little bit strange since there is still, backdoor protection. They're trying hard, but they're not going to be able to build burst, not build or bird. Anyway, they're not going to be able to burn their way through into that tower until those creeps coming through. And this tower is going to take a lot of damage. There's no buyback on these heroes on the side of the raid. They're very short. They're just short, I should say, not very short. They're a little short, all being able to buy back there. And now they're on the retreat. They're a little bit afraid of this Earthshaker, who does have that Blink Dagger and the Fissure up and waiting to make his surprise appearance. And look at this, 23 stacks from his shift. His essence shift. That is 63 agility going, 69, not 63. 69 agility going his way. He's on fire at the moment. That's 200 damage, auto cut damage he'll be doing with a slow on top of it from the sky. How do you survive that? You don't, so unfortunately they're going to be able to capitalize on that as they're going back to farming, which I think Ausdotes just needs to do until they can take that engagement once again. And now Slark is roughly 5k ahead of this Juggernaut. That's one major item, and that major item is Skullbasher on the way towards that Abyssal. And once he has that Abyssal, Juggernaut, he's effectively dead, because even while you're in that spin, you pop the Abyssal and then he's effectively hopeless. He can't do anything. He's not going to survive. But now it looks like Ausdotes, they're potentially grouping up. The Ravage will be off cooldown very shortly, in 20 seconds. They should not look to engage until they have it off cooldown. Brewmaster is just scurrying around with his invis room, watching this Juggernaut. Now Seb+Co, they're going to throw up a ward. Unfortunately, it's not going to be spotted out by Ausdotes yet, but next time they do browse past in the daylight time, they'll get hill vision and be able to find that ward up on that cliff. So Slark is pushing his way up on that top lane. Earthshaker's got to be extremely cautious though, as Slark could easily find himself a kill, especially with the help of a Wraith King with that Blink Dagger, who's got a BKB coming in. Yes, he's got a BKB. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. He's got part of a BKB coming in. He's still about 1200 gold of picking up that BKB. But we do have the Assault Cuirass coming up on someone. Who's that on? The pink. Brewmaster's got the Assault Cuirass. Oh, I'm so far behind the times. Juggernaut's going to be in a little trouble. Jellyshot's going to chase him down a little bit. But we do see the illusion room being picked up by the Juggernaut. And Juggernaut should split up his illusions so they can farm effectively in the jungle by themselves, as they can easily auto-attack down a creep camp by themselves. So this stage of the game, what do Seb+Co do? We've seen time and time again that with a well-timed vacuum and well-timed vacuum and wall into an Earthshaker, this entire fight can be turned around, as there still is not a mechanism, I believe, up on the side of Ausdotes. So they're still missing out on that 250 heal, instant heal. They're missing out that little bit of a regen aura and armor aura coming from that mechanism, which can still go in the favor of Seb+Co. I mean, you do have a lot of these AoE stuns, got a lot of the AoE damage, and then the Witch Doctor, who's now got his Aghanim Scepter. Oh, this should be real fun to watch once they get into an engagement. Watching that cast bounce around like no tomorrow. However, it's going to be a little less effective due to the fact that this Brewmaster is going to have his AC up very shortly. Increasing the armor across his entire team will reduce the damage of that Death Ward, as well as increasing the damage output from the heroes such as the Slark, the Wraith King, and even the Tidehunter will happily benefit that due to its Anchor Smash being physical damage, and I think they're trying to give a little bit of gold over to Total. He's working his way to that refresher. As I was going to say, it does help the Anchor Smash, as it is armor and does not get affected by magic immunity nor resistance. Now smoke has been purchased on that Scarlet Mage. They're going to be looking up, grouping up on top of this jungle and trying to rotate on in to find themselves an easy kill in this mid lane. And they're waiting. They're going to pop the smoke. They're going to move back a little bit just in case if anything sneaky does happen. And finally a TP comes in from the Slark. I'm not too sure they needed that, as he can just pop his Shadow Blade and catch back up. And now here we go. Ausdotes, they're on the hunt. They're going to be rotating down bottom lane. They've drawn their aggressive path through this jungle. They're going to run into the Viper. Viper, will he spot him out? He spots the smoke. But they all blink in on him. This is going to be one dead happy. He even pops his mechanism, but that won't help in this situation. And instantly, they say Roshan. They timed it correctly. They knew when Roshan was coming up. They knew they had to find themselves a kill. And then they chased down that Roshan. Now, Roshan will fall quite fast with the additional negative armor coming from Brewmaster, and now the auto attack damage on the side of Ausdotes. Rush is going down. There's nothing this Juggernaut can do about it, or the side of Seb+Co, but mainly this Juggernaut. He's now got a man to start up and running. In this situation, I don't think it's the best, because you're really not going to be doing too much additional damage output due to the mana style. You may be able to push a little bit more effective, which I think he should continue to do, knowing that they're down Rosh. He's just going home and picking up a TP scroll just in case, which is smart. But I don't think a Manta style is the most effective item pickup here. I feel as if he should have went something a little bit more auto attack heavy, maybe going towards the Abyssal as to go head and toe with that Slark, or even the Brewmaster, because Brewmaster is a little bit of an issue right now. They need some more lockdown, because at the moment Earthshaker and Witch Doctor can only do so much, and you're not going to get a Cypher Vice up in Darkseer anytime soon, as he is going for that Aghanim Scepter. Witch Doctor, he's got Aghanim Scepter. That's probably the most farm he'll get for the entire game. And the Viper, he's picked up an Aghanim Scepter and he's going to be working towards a big KB himself. So you're missing out a lot of lockdown to stop these heroes from being able to get in the front lines and kill you. I mean, Brewmaster, he works effective when you don't have lockdown. I mean, if you don't have a silence, he's going to pop his ult. You don't have stuns to keep him in place, he's going to withstand the damage you're going to throw at him, and then pop him when he's about half HP to a third HP. There's just no way of shutting down this Brewmaster with this late into the game without effective lockdown. which Seb+Co don't really have other than 3 abilities. We can't rule them out. I mean, you look at the XP graph and the net worth graph, it is going back in favor of Ausdotes, but 6k XP isn't that much. I mean, it's about 2, maybe 3 levels spread across a lot of these higher named heroes or higher leveled heroes. But that could easily turn around in a single fight. I mean, you look at the hero levels. Slark 21, Juggernaut 20, Brew 20, and Viper 18. However, a big key to point out is Tidehunter is now level 3. He's going to have that increased duration of that stun and damage, which can help in these engagements. I personally would have liked Viper to have gone for a pipe instead of a BKB to help spread out the damage in these engagements. And Juggernaut might be in a lot of trouble here. They jump in on him, the Abyssal Blade comes out, and we're talking about how the Abyssal Blade will do a lot of damage to stun. He needs to Omni Slash. Where's his team? He's silenced up. He's gone. He does have a buyback, so they're going to force a buyback out of him very shortly. But this is not good for Seb+Co. They're now all the way back here. They're in a lot of trouble. And Ausdotes will now be pushing in towards this tier 2 tower. What can Seb+Co here do here? They need to forfeit this tower. Let it go. Get back to your tier 3. Defend your high ground. If you try and fight on an equal level of Ausdotes, they're going to pick you off. And they're going to blink in. They're on the low ground. This is going to be disastrous for Seb+Co. Ravage comes out. Lands on the 3 heroes. Buyback by Juggernaut. But it might be too late. The Echo Slam. The Fissure. It's not there. But the Death Ward is killing all of them. He's doing a lot of damage. It's bouncing around. He does get stunned up by the Brewmaster. Is it enough? Juggernaut's trying to stand up. Juggernaut's going to spin away. Will he fall again from the dieback? He will go down. That is the team wipe. Going in for Ausdotes. They're able to find a turnaround kill due to the illusions, but that's a team wipe. 2 big heroes on Ausdotes are still up. These are the racks, and could this potentially be the round victory for Ausdotes? That was a fantastic engagement from Ausdotes. They saw Seb+Co retreated. They found him in the ditch. And once you find him in there, you've caught Seb+Co off guard. Silence on the Earthshaker. Earthshaker fell without casting anything. And that was the turning point for Ausdotes. They were able to find the initiatives they were. They didn't have to worry about trying to chip anything uphill. They didn't have to worry about any unfair advantage or not knowing where the enemy was. They found him off guard and found them quite easily. So now, Ausdotes, they're going to find themselves a 3rd tier 3 tower. They're going to find themselves a Rax. And that's due to a fantastic blink in from Jello shots, slowing them down, and then a Ravage to follow up. The Death Ward almost saved it for him from my documents, but it just wasn't enough. And now Pigeon is going to jump on away. He doesn't have Dark Pact. He does try and purge it. And unfortunately for Seb+Co, they purge the dust. He gets the dust purged. Not they purge the dust. He purges his own dust. So, unfortunately, I don't want to be that guy, but I don't think Seb+Co can turn this around. You've lost your tier 3s, you've lost your racks, you've lost the melee racks down on bottom lane. The entire lanes are just going to continue pushing in over and over again, and I just think it's going to be, Mount Kosciuszko? I think it's Kosciuszko. Mount Kosciuszko kind of climb for Seb+Co to come back into this game, and Slark's just too far ahead. He's got Abyssal, he's got Shadow Blade, he's got 9k gold casually. He doesn't care. He's just sitting on there. Sitting there high and mighty with all the gold underneath his name. Now we just wait for Ausdotes to finally put the nail in the coffin when they decide to. They're going to push him mid lane, they're going to push him bottom lane. And then Seb+Co, I give him props for not giving up yet. There's always hope in Dota. You should, I'm sure all of you have played that one game where it looks like you're pretty much down and out, and then it finally comes back and you somehow win something you should have lost. Well, this can happen. Seb+Co have shown that they can turn these fights around with a well-timed vacuum, Echo Slam, and, you know, Fissure. I said this multiple times, but it's still there. They can still do this. And Slark is going to be having something ferried in onto that courier. It will be his MKB, making sure if any wingbow pickup from that, not wingbow, butterfly pickup from that Juggernaut will be shut down swiftly. Which he's got the evasion up and running on him, so they're going to be able to burst through him quite easily very shortly. Now, Ausdotes, they're waiting, they're on the hunt. They're gonna push in. They're gonna find their first match victory of the day. Bruce just having a little bit of fun there with his ultimate. Did a little jig. Get him down and dirty. Now they're going to get ready to go on in. He's going to blink. He's not going to blink. Okay. Going to casually walk back to his ramp. But Ausdotes, they're going to be looking to jumping on here. And this is what Seb+Co can't have. Seb+Co need to be making that move. And, well, Jello Shots is walking on in. They've made the high ground. It's fair play for both sides. Fissure comes out, but the split has already gone. Adobe Reader, he's going to fall under the heavy weight of that brew. Happy's going to die shortly after. Not going to be able to do too much there. Damo is gone. 3 heroes down. 4 heroes about to fall for Bubblegum. Death Ward. Will he be able to do anything there? He gets thrown up in the air. The Ravage is not going to work as we do have that Witch Doctor up in the air. Scarlet is going to do much either. My documents will fall. That's a team wipe. Going in favor of Ausdotes. The GGs are called. Seb+Co, unfortunately, will be losing their first match of this group stage of brackets. Ausdotes will be taking their second match victory in this round. Fantastic and well played by Ausdotes. They kept up the aggression from minute number 1. Smoking early, picking off that Darkseer. After they secured the top lane and the farm for their hero, they rotated down into that mid lane, found themselves some more kills on the Viper, and then they just kept the pressure up the entire game. Ausdotes would not let go of Seb+Co's throat. Seb+Co had a few times where they kicked Ausdotes in the nuts and it looked like they could come back into it, but Ausdotes showed they had balls of steel and turned it back around over and over again, came out with the victory, and will be making a pretty dominant move throughout the Group B standings. So stay tuned, more games coming up all day, both casted by myself on Dota TV, and 49 backwards will be casting on Twitch and on through Dota TV as well. So stay tuned for a lot more Australian Amateur Cup coming up soon.